So, Marta, tell us a little bit about the film. Where is the idea coming from? How long it was? Just walk us a little bit about it.
First of all, thank you, the festival for us. Thank you, Tanya, for the flowers.
Yes.
Giving me flowers virtually.
Yes.
Thanks for the festival. Thanks for the opportunity to represent Brazil and South America in the North Film Festival here in New York. I'm very glad to be able to make this film and represent our culture. This short film, I want more to listen from you than to talk and what you want to know. This is an independent project. I did it all by myself with a friend, and always a friend holding the camera and doing the whole thing. I did this trip. I thought about the script before doing the trip to Peru, Bolivia, and Chile. And while I was finding the colors and the things to put it all together. And then together with Daniel Garcia, that's an editor in Brazil, a very good editor, and Lindenberg Oliveira, the one who did the soundtrack, we finally, after like 5 years of the trip, we put it all together. And then I started sending to festivals. And yeah, some people understand, some people like without understanding, and that's the magic of this experimental movie. And I'm very glad to be here. And I want to hear more what you have to say as you watch it, and your curiosity about the Maniac Queen that sent a message to this character through the paths and knowledge to South America.
You wrote the script, right?
Yes.
What was the process? Where this idea coming from? Why did you decide to do it?
Okay. The Maniac Queen, I think, then I kept thinking how the Maniac Queen came from, and I traveled all my trip with a maniac, that it was like big and started getting shorter, and then it was this size. And the temple also, and it's because it's our roots, right? And the Maniac, it's one root that the United Nations chose as one of the best superfood in the world that could stop the starvation in the world. So that's why I chose the Maniac Queen. And also because in Brazil, in the northeast part, we eat lots of things made by manioc. And manioc is a root that is in all South America. In Africa also you can find it's very common and cheap, and it could stop the starvation in the world if people gave the value that it's a queen, it's our Mother Earth, right? So that's why the Maniac Queen. And the whole issue of the movie is how we treat our body and the others, right? It's I think the main thing, and how we could heal the world, how we could save the world from people who are destroying nature and all this desertification process that we are passing through in South America, in the whole world. But right now it's the hottest time ever in Brazil. The main rivers in the Amazon forest are gone. And yeah, it was like 5 years ago that I wrote the script in 2018, and I did the film that I ended 2022. But since that time, it was like easy to predict. Okay, we are in a desertification process, and we as humans, we cannot stop this. And with this frustration, I didn't know what to do, and I could see it was coming, and so I did the movie. And in the beginning, the movie it would end with the character dead, completely dead. There's no water, there's no food. She has a dream, and I like horror films also. So that horror film that in your nightmare you die. So that's the connection that okay, she dies. That she can't find the solution and she dies. And then there was I was like, okay, I need to give some hope for me, for people. Okay, we need to still alive. So then it was that connection with the dream. It was a dream, was a trip, was a reality, and that playing with this.
Questions, guys?
Actions.
Was that all filmed in Brazil or was it in?
Yeah, and it was the only part of Brazil is the room, and the waterfall that passes in the picture is in Brazil. But all the rest it was Peru, Bolivia, and Chile. And I wanted like to do this connection because we in Brazil, we somehow because we speak Portuguese, we are disconnected with our neighbors from South America because speak Spanish, and it was also a way to also explain to the whole world that we are different because of the language, but we are all together and at the same point of value of our ancestor knowledge that are different types of indigenous people, but our roots in Brazil we have as much as in the Incas, in Bolivia, in Chile, in Peru, the knowledge of how to treat well nature. That's what we have. That it's the most important thing for us.
And you were in 4 countries, right?
Yes,
How was
Chile,
it?
Bolivia, Peru.
How long was that? You did it like in a month or?
Well, I did it 20 days with a friend,
Oh, wow.
a crazy friend who said, okay, I'll go with this cheap trip with a backpack in South America, and then I did the whole thing. Like we went from Cusco and first in Lima, in Punta Hermosa, and then I went to the supermarket part and did some part before, and then in the Vale Sagrado in Peru, and then Copacabana. The picture, and that's the funniest thing. The most beautiful parts were the worst to make, the hardest to make. Like walking through mountains, like 3 hours walking up, and then 3 hours walking down, minus 30 degrees. And that's Salar of Uyuni. It was like really, really freezing. It was ice, and I was like there with almost no clothes there, waiting for the car to go rounding. In that scene that I was, the character was dead. And yeah, it was just a trip, just a regular trip. People wouldn't wait for me to do this thing, so I had to do everything in one shot perfectly. And I would like arrive really early in the places like Machu Picchu. I arrived at 6 a.m. Wow. I had been there before, so I knew if I got there right on time, I could get the llama picture. And the llama and the things were like really fast, everything like hold the camera, I would hold the camera and do the focus on her, she would change the place, zoom me, and then I would pass and then it would be gone. Yeah, and that was just one shot for everything. It was nice, it was fun and nice. Yeah. I never expected it would get that big and I would be in New York talking about it.
I have a question for Tamia.
Wait, I think you're coming.
We continue with Marta.
Oh,
and then
okay,
we-
sorry.
Yes, because it's actually her show. You know, my film was just a special screening. Tamia wanted to talk, we let her talk. But Marta, will you do another film like with these characteristics to go to different countries again?
Yes,
or what's hard for you?
Yes, that's part of a project that I have of short films. that's called Farofeira pelo Mundo. Farofa is a recipe from Brazil that I will change the name to be like more international. It's the Adventure Chef. So that's the premier time that I'm talking about it. Yes, it's a series of short films that has a fictional part that can be anything that comes, and this fantasy story, and a documentary part that I go to the street market and buy something from a real person. It's not a supermarket from a machine as we in big cities are used to. So I started doing this in different places in Brazil and giving and also a recipe. So there is a recipe, street market, and a fictional part to this project. So it can be anywhere. And actually this is the first international one. And yes, if any place wants to invite me, I will get something from the place to make a recipe and go to the street market to buy it. But the story is not going to be about it. It's going to be like through the story.
That's what was so great about this one, because while we were watching, John was like, we should write down all these like medicinal herbs. And I love that you had reality and this fantasy. It was just so it like worked on so many levels.
Yes. And I also my first time making a movie, it was a documentary. And I always thought a little bit strange, this idea of documentary is like, it's the truth. And then I wanted like to play with this documentary and fictional together. So this movie had won awards in documentary and also fictional. And it was chosen by China as a scientific movie to promote science in China. And also in a horror film, in a horror festival, they chose and they gave award of best short film. And I was just like, okay, scientific, is it horror, is it real, is it documentary? So it's good to play with this. Is it reality? Was she awake? Was it a trip? Was it a dream? I like this idea of playing with and not giving an answer.
Yes, Mr. Eduardo.
Yeah, I was just going to say, going up and down those mountains on the trails, visiting the llamas and everything, you must be in absolutely awesome physical condition to do all that, right? Up and down the hills and.
Yeah. This specifically, like for others, to sit in the computer, I don't have any health anymore. But to walk, yes, I love doing this. In Brazil, we have this in Bahia, where I lived. There are lots of trekkings, and I used to do like every week to go and to hide by the river, and 1 hour, 3 hours walking and returning.
Okay.
Yes, I'm used to this part. Yes.
Another couple of questions for Marta. Come on, filmmakers. How was the post-production? How long was the process?
Okay, so I started, I thought about the movie, and I did this trip with my friend. It was a 20 days trip. Then I returned and I got sick. I waited. Is that fine? Without? The microphone got sick also? And then I forgot about this project for a few years. And then I was in Germany doing theater there. It was freezing there. I had nothing left to do. I couldn't speak German. And then I got back to the film. And then I started sending to the festivals but I had no clue how to start this process. And after the responses of the festivals, of course, not the big ones, because I never had confidence enough to send to the big ones, and I don't have a producer, I do by myself, so I started sending to the festivals, and then the festivals started answering that they liked and giving awards, and then that's the path of the movie. And now I understand that now it's like I have to promote the movie. That's my mission now. That's the movie now is telling me to go to New York, show the people, be there, talk about it, because it's a never-ending process, right?
Right.
Right.
And Tamia and Katie, we go fast. You guys wanna remember that this was a special screening, eh? So that's why I'm not there. But you guys can answer anything, and you can tell us a little bit about the story, or the adventure we had. You can actually say, go Tamia.
That's the director. So it was a hell of a trip, indeed. We had a amazing experience. We went through a lot of challenges to get to Hotel Delicious. I'd like to recognize our leaders that are in the room here. We have Stephen Wilbur. He was the producer of the project. And we have Darren Rayner. And he was the director of the project and co-writer along with Scott Simpson. So we all packed our bags, 13 of us, jumped into a big giant van, crossed the border from Costa Rica. We started out in Costa Rica and had an amazing time in Costa Rica, not anticipating what we would be doing in Nicaragua. We studied our lines, he prepped us, we did a lot of online practices and things like that, rehearsals, and then we all got together. Jumped on the bus to come across. Now our van had to stop at the border. It couldn't carry us across the border. We had to pick all our luggage and our equipment and anything that we had in Costa Rica and carry it almost a mile through 2 or 3 checkpoints in torrential rain. Okay? Just envision it, okay? We did it. We helped each other out. We were worried because the rain started and we had the equipment on the roof and it was like, Lord, please don't let the equipment get destroyed because we couldn't stop right away and take it off the roof and blah, 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 blah. But anyways, we crossed those borders. Now it cost us at each point to get from one spot to the next spot to the next spot. Telling you guys, it was a hell of a trip. Then we got to Nicaragua. To enter the country, they took all our passports and we waited, what, 3 hours? 2 to 3 hours in the airport, wondering if they were even gonna let us in, right? Then we got in, okay? There was more to that, but I'm gonna move forward, okay? So we're supposed to arrive at the hotel, which the hotel is an amazing venue that people can film at in Nicaragua. Our producer, Steve Wilbur, has a hotel there, Hotel Lolita. It's open for filming, people can go there, it's a hostel, it's a beautiful place. That's where the entire film was filmed, okay? If you like that, that's a venue for you. We get there at 1 o'clock in the morning. We were supposed to get there at what, 10? Okay, with every anticipation of eating and having something to drink and blah, blah, blah. But thank God we made it. 1 o'clock in the morning. And then we started filming at 6 or 7 the next day, a.m. Yes. So it was a real blessing. We really ended up being a bonded group, and it's so funny for you to hear me say blessing, and those of you who know, I'm a minister and all this kind of stuff, and I play this super dark character in it, But it was interesting because when Darwin brought the character to me, Berta, and I read the script and I was like, it's the darkest character I've ever played, is what I can say. Okay, and she is a dark character. When he told me why the story was written, that's when I bought it. Because of the injustices and the inhumanity and the things that had happened to that culture. So this woman who the character, who was kind of, even though she was possessed, she was reaching out, kind of like you were talking about the land, you know, she was reaching out like an instrument of the land because they had been so raped and pillaged and taken advantage of by colonialists. And that's why they went, when it says it was like, it's like the worst trip or brown acid or something like that, you know, it was one of those things where we saw all of those people partaking, right? And there's a lot of people who partake, they go to these countries and they take from the country, you know, drugs and this and that, and they leave nothing behind except for broken bodies and, you know, things like that. So that's how Berta's character kind of, you know, in the whole story told you, they come here to take. And then they turn back around. Oh, these things don't last as long at all, do they? But the characters themselves, Nanyo and the other assistant and Berta, they basically took on the persona of the land, like the Avengers, if you want to say. It's not, hello? But anyways, yeah, so let's let Katie share. She's one of the people who was murdered.
What, how I ended up on the phone?
Oh, yes, yes.
I don't
I mentioned that everybody pays their own tickets.
I was going to, but the mic Okay, so in a way, by him saying that it's not working, this is not, yeah, I was in voice, yes. So basically, every single one of us, from the crew members to the actors, we all paid our own ways. We flew into Costa Rica, we paid for the hotel we were staying in, we paid for all our food and our flights and all that kind of stuff, because we believed in the project and the message of the project. So I think it's important that you guys understand that. That's why when Darwin said, oh, this is a special screening, but I look at it like this, for the actors that can and do get a chance to come, because we're all doing this on our own dime. We went to LA for the first time we screened this, which was last week. And then, you know, several of us have come here to New York, and it's at our expense, our own expense, to support this film. So getting the opportunity to actually talk about the film and our involvement in the film is kind of a little bit of a reward for all that we've invested in the film. And I also want to recognize Edward, because he's the voiceover in here.
55 million people.
Yes. I want to recognize Kathy and Kathy. That's the local She was a great support on set. She was part of the crew. She did what she needed to do. You know, so everybody showed up and it was all hands on deck. You could go from being on a boom mic to mopping the floor, but you were doing what you needed to do to make the movie film forward. Well, then I want to introduce this lovely lady to my right over here. She started off doing makeup. She started off trying to make me look like Berta, okay? We have some great pictures of her fixing my belt and fixing my hair and doing all this stuff. And we were waiting for one other actress to come. And just life and traffic and planes and yada, yada, yada prevented her from coming. Yes. And this woman here.
Last minute.
Coach.
No, the script.
Yeah, let me take it over.
No,
Take her over.
Take it over,
So I
yeah.
had no idea it was an Italian character. I'm like, oh my God, I can't speak Italian. I don't have an Italian accent. What am I gonna do? So thank God Luciano was there, and he was like, look, this is how you do it. This is how you pronounce this. And I'm like, oh my God. But it was fun though. It was so much fun. It was so exciting. Bombacho was great. He had such a great time. Oh my God. Yes, so good. Wow, and the whole trip was great. It was fun, all of us together. Oh my God, the scenes, the house.
all lived in that hotel.
Yeah.
So with us all living in the hotel, and there being a language barrier.
Oh, yes. Yes.
So when silencio, quiet understand, that it meant nothing. It literally meant.
It was like 2 seconds.
It was 2 seconds, and then they were talking like
this, whispering softly.
because we had support people there. We had moms there. We had support people in the house, literally in the hotel with us. And so when Darwin would yell, okay, quiet on the set, everybody would reverb it so you could hear quiet on the set, because it was 3 levels, right? Quiet for about 2 seconds. And then you start hearing pots and pans, you hear people talking, doors closing. So we had to reset constantly because they were not understanding what quiet on the set meant. As in, you cease everything. Don't keep cooking. Don't keep,
They were talking in a real low voice.
They were talking in a low voice that pitched right out on the microphone, But it was so much fun, though.
It was. I was dying laughing. I'm like, oh my God. But then it got annoying, though.
Yeah, at a point it got annoying
Yeah.
because Darwin was so, he's a real, you see him at the festivals, He's a very focused person. Let's get
Very
this
dedicated,
done.
very, yeah.
Exactly. And he just, and we couldn't even put him out. Okay? You know what I'm saying? We'd be like, could you go to the store? Could you, just to put them out of the building. We couldn't put them out. They would come back, so. But thank God for them because they fed us and it, it all worked
It all worked
together.
out, yeah. It all worked out for the best, yeah.
But it was a hell of a trip, okay?
Yeah.
The one lesson to take from it is the actress that was flying from Italy had both Italian and a Irish passport, and she was flying on the Irish passport, and that was why they wouldn't let her pass through the States because a lot of Irish people don't leave. And so the lesson to have if you have an Italian passport, it's golden. Use your Italian.
Wow.
Okay, so questions.
Yes, I have a question. Since he already owns that hotel where it was happening, and you had this hell of a trip, right? Have you thought of expanding the story, making it into a feature film, including that whole crossing the border? Since it happened, you already had an experience, and you keep saying hell of a trip, hell of a trip.
Yeah.
So have you thought about that?
That's a good idea. I'm working in the future film with the same title. Probably we change it.
Yes.
Try to expand it. And
And
try to actually do it.
backstory.
with the fundraising
Yeah,
in
like they're
Nicaragua.
way over there. Yeah, they could be doing that too, yeah.
So I'm gonna pass the final script to Scott again so he can revise it. But yeah, that's the goal.
Because that will add,
And that's a good idea.
yes,
actually.
it has a lot of addition. It will
Right.
add a lot.
They come from there.
Because they can get
The only thing will be the budget.
Exactly.
That will be increased budget for sure. That's a little bit tricky.
We're gonna need a new cast.
Yes.
People here.
I want to ask you a question. You played a depressed character.
Hey, hold on, you guys.
You played a depressed character in your other film, which we saw.
Yes,
Wonderful. And then you played this evil
demonic character.
What was the difference? What was it like? Is one you have to go deep, and the other one, because you said that you did like the project and you liked the whole reason of it, did you go deep also, or you just had fun?
I had fun. The way I balanced it, and the crew will attest to this, the way I balanced it is because I am a very spiritual person. So I prayed on the set. I sent out inspirations. I sent out songs that were my label songs, things like that, because I knew that my character was dark. And I didn't want to go there. I wanted to be the actress, and then that's it, right? So when we would sit and have meals and things like that, I was Tania. I was totally Tania. I was not Berta. But then when it was Berta time, I was Berta time. Berta didn't smile. Berta didn't interact. Berta looked at everybody crazy like she was looking at people like that. Yes. Yes. But it was easy for me to separate because of the fact, number one, everybody knew me. So they knew that I was not this dark character, And they let me be both. You know what I'm saying? I got to sit down and have beans and rice with everybody and laugh, you know, and then there was a time where don't mess with her because she's a character and she's burnt up, you know, yeah.
And tell them about Alessandro suffering for food,
Oh
thinking
my
about
God.
Italian food.
Poor thing, yes. And then there was some pork rice. And he was like, oh, this is delicious. Can I get more?
Yeah.
And then he left the bag on the table. And somebody took it. He's like, where's my bag of pork rice?
Yeah, he's so little too. He's like the tiniest.
Oh, and then when the guys were on the door and he almost died in the room.
What happened?
The guys.
The makeup.
The makeup guys, yes. And they were pounding on the door. And then he was like, oh my God, oh my God.
Yeah, we had, you know, the behind the scenes on this, Emmanuel, would be, just doing the BTS would be a laugh riot.
Yes.
Of just all the stuff we dealt with and the people that we brought in from outside to come help us, like she's talking about the makeup artists and things like that.
They were eccentric.
They were definitely eccentric, you know. So there's a lot we learned from this, you know. We all grew with each other, you know, on set, became really good friends, you know. But we also experienced a whole lot of interesting things along the way. Yeah. So I would love to see a BTS be done for.
Yes, yes.
How long were you actually filming?
Was it 4 or 5 days?
For 5 days.
5 days, yeah.
Very good.
And we just, I mean, when you go to sleep, you get up, you go to sleep, because we were there, you know, we were in the
You
house,
got the
so we
whole
just,
story in 4 or 5. You got the story. You saw the beginning and it just moved.
Yes.
Very good. Very.
And change things a little bit because there was a change in cast. I think the sequence of shooting wasn't it a little different than it would have been.
because we were waiting on her, yes.
Yeah, we would have, I think, waiting like close to 36 hours. She was stuck at Rose for 36
Yeah.
hours and realized she wasn't going to get any further. So at that point, we're just like, Katie.
Yeah, you guys give her an amazing round of applause because she's so steadfast. Overnight to learn to be Italian, overnight, and she pulled it off with her lines and everything. Yes.
And Alessandro's your second time in the film, huh?
Yes.
Yeah. You love watching him. I
Yeah,
love
he's a good
it.
actor.
He's so appreciative.
Right?
He
Yes,
loves
he
that
loves
you
the
do
acting.
something beautiful, beautiful.
You were an evil
You guys are all
one too.
great.
Thank you.
And your other guy, what was his name? The big guy that gets killed at the end?
Yeah.
Oh,
Guadalupe.
Hey,
Huh?
Mario! I say to him, Buenalo!
He was very natural, this guy.
And he was just
So
such
you said there's a plan to do a feature of this. But besides that, what are you cooking or working on?
I'm trying to get my film in Barcelona also, which is the feature film. So I'm doing that one, yes. So I just got a matter of budget to decide which one I go for, which is a drama I'm working, yes, with this guy. Or the horror film in Nicaragua, depends on what's possible in Nicaragua. Economic.
We also offer things, what sells, and that's what you know in this business. What sells? Horror sells.
Horror, yes.
Action, no tell sells. This is what every distributor wants. What sells? What do people want? They want candy, they want action. Even though we want to do deep artistic stuff, great, and it's good for us, we do all the festivals we want, but if you want to write your next one, you have to fight. If you get lucky enough, you have to find something great and sell it.
Right.
You're on the right path, I think.
Well, I just really want to show our appreciation for Darwin for his creativity.
Well, I was raising my hand, but
Oh, I'm sorry,
I was trying to piggyback off what he was mentioning about the feature film, and I was just thinking, while I was watching it, I was feeling certain type of energy, and then after you actually shared your story about what you guys experienced, it kind of confirmed, so I was wondering if that would be part of the actual feature film. So while I was feeling, I saw you, I was like, okay, she's possessed, and then when you started sharing the story, it started making me wonder, after asking you, was this really based on a true story, you said yes. Was it the people who were treated or mistreated, possessing or making you guys experience some of the things that they felt and how they were treated?
Yes, yes.
To help you guys tell their story
Yes.
a little better.
Yes.
And would you think that would be something
That
you
would
would
be
want to
stories.
include if you did make it a feature, if you guys may have actually felt this way from the people who wanted you to actually let others know how they felt?
Good question. Hang on, you guys in the back. This was a good point that was brought up, Darwin. And we kind of need, hold on, we kind of need Darwin to address this. So we need to get him back focused up here. Hello, John, Darwin, hi.
Yes.
Okay, Matthew just gave us some really good feedback, and I'd like you to say it to him. So, again, because I want
I
him
want
to
to
hear.
listen to all of that.
Yes, yes,
No, I was saying, when I was watching the film, and Tamia's character, what was his name?
yes.
Berta.
Bertha.
How Bertha was possessed. So I started kind of resonating with, you know, spirituality side of things, and when she started sharing the story about the experience, which was a hell of a trip, but at the same time a blessing. And I feel like the blessing was the people who actually experienced and went through what they went through, connecting with you guys as you were traveling to be able to tell the story on a more authentic level. And would that be something that you would want to include in the featured film so that way other people in the world who are being treated the same way can actually connect with the story?
Yeah, that's something that is possible as well. Yes, absolutely. And it's beautiful, right? What we went through.
Yeah, I
Yes,
think
to
it
show.
builds on the question when Jennifer's character asked, or whoever asked me, what am I there for? Why is the American woman here?
Uh-huh.
You know, we could really build on that more as to
Correct.
how she got sucked in, and and why now is she the leader? You know, she's
Yeah.
an American woman and she's running these local people. You know.
You know, maybe they killed you first and then they just used your body and then that's why you're there. It's not even
Entirely possible. You know, yeah. So something to think about.
Yeah, bless you.
Well, not to be controversial, right? But most of the problems that are happening in Latin America have been orchestrated in the United States. So it makes sense that your character is now the new colonizers, because that's what had happened to Latin America. After the rape of the Spaniards and the English came the rape of the States. So it makes sense.
Yeah, and some people might find those images strong that they saw there. If you think about it literally when it happened to them, okay? So now it's happening to, you know, these pretty little, you know, happy white people, you know, European people, you know, but when it was happening to them, to the natives there, nobody cared. You know what I'm saying? So now that's how you as the viewer or the person looking can now get it. You're like, oh my goodness. Oh, that's horrible. This woman's getting, wait a minute. 90,000 of them got treated like this. And we're just seeing 4 or 6 or however many we killed. How many killed in this episode?
No, 6 when you're in your hair.
So everyone, round of applause, and this is it.